Hello everyone, welcome back to the final episode of the YouTube clone series. I am sorry for being 15 minutes late with it, but I have just published another video where I go through how to install MeliSearch and Laravel Scout. If you're in doubt, you can just head to laravel.com. All you just need to do is follow the instructions on the Scout installation package and head into install it here, publish the provider, and outside of that you just need to install MeliSearch here and put this into your env configuration file. So to get started with, let's head into the video model here, and inside the video model we want to have a few things in here. We want to have use searchable set up, and then we want the ability to essentially create a searchable array where we will pass through the data the user will see. So we want to have public function to searchable array. We're going to pass through an array here, and in here we're going to put in this array here where we are going to say title is going to be equal to this title, and description is going to be equal to this description, and then we're going to set the tags as well. So that's basically what we're doing here. Then in order to import this, we're going to just say php-artisan scout import app models video, and there we go. So if we head back in to the MeliSearch application, let's go in and copy this. You can see we have these two videos imported, which is perfect. So let's go ahead and look at creating the search functionality now. So inside navigation menu, we are going to just start off by, I'm going to make myself a bit more space here. So I'm going to close down the aside here where we have the sidebar. I'm going to close down the hamburger just to make sure that's sorted. And outside of that, we don't need this one showing either. I'm just making it easier to basically work within here. So just below where we have this name here, we're gonna put through a div with the flex item center flex grow 1, and in here we're gonna have relative position. Then we're going to have a form in here. And in here we're going to say route search. That will currently not exist, so that will break the application temporarily. We want to set in a method here, which is going to be get. And we want to have an X input with the ID of query, name query, type is going to be search, and placeholder is going to be search. And outside of that, I just want to have this as with an icon in here, so say X slot append, and inside here we are appending a button with the type of submit. Icon is going to be fas.search, and the class is going to be button primary rounded L none. Let's take a look at what that looks like when we've created the search route first. So in here, we're just gonna create this route here called search. And this is gonna use a controller we're gonna call search controller. So I'm just gonna say php-artisan make controller called search controller. Make it invocable, and for now I'm just gonna comment out this here. And then in here we're going to pass through the search controller. Import it. And let's take a look. There we go. So that already looks better. So inside the search controller, we're going to have a query, which is going to be the same as request query. And we're going to have the result, which is going to be video search query get. And then we're just going to return the view called search with results as well. And I'm going to create this view in here now called search. This is where we will have all the results showing for the user. And inside the search bar, search side, what we want to have in here is just the layout. And then we want to have a div in here with a padding of 12 with a max width of 7 XL and center the div. And then we want to have text 2 XL with a mark and button of 5. We're going to have this as a H1. Use search for query. And I'm going to put this in the strong field here. So if we now go in here and let's say I'm typing in something here, you search for DD because we're now passing through that result here. So let's iterate through the results we retrieved in here. So I'm going to have a grid here with a gap X of 8 and a gap Y of 4 and a grid columns of 3. And then here I'm going to have for each results as video, and I'm gonna have a Livewire video card in here. And then let's just search for test. You can see we get this. It works fine, but if I search for something completely unrelated, it doesn't come up. So we're able to now search in here, which is really neat. Outside of that, we also want to make sure inside the navigation menu that we actually pass through the current results. So below the input, I want to say if str length and query is greater than 0 and count search results is greater than 0, then we will end the if condition, and here we will then have an absolute with a width full, background wide, margin top of 1, border, shadow, rounded, and the shadow should actually be large. And we also just want to set a 50 because it needs to show at any given time. And in here, all we want to have is a div where we say wire click, and we need to make sure this isn't going to be in a Livewire component, so we're going to move that into a Livewire component in a minute. And we're going to say set query to result title, and we need to iterate through this div as well, so let's make sure we do that. So for each search results as result. And then we're passing through the title here. So basically what I'm going to go ahead and do now is going to make sure that we have this Livewire component called menu. I'm going to go ahead and delete everything in there. And then in the navigation here, we're going to pass this through. Then we're going to app.blade.php, and in here we just want to say Livewire navigation. And now we're just getting an error because we haven't created the backend code yet for this. So let's head into the Livewire navigation file. First and foremost, we want to have a public query. This is going to be a string. Set to null by default. Public array of search results. And then we want to on mount have a request. And then we want to say if request query, and then we want to set it to the query here. Then we want to say public function updated query. In here, if empty this query, then we want to say this search results, same as video search, this query get, and otherwise we want to say it's going to be empty. And I think we should set this as just non-type because it's not going to work that way. And then we want to have a public function in here which is going to be called setQuery, which is going to be another void function. And in here we just want to say this query equals query the search results is nothing because this is when we click on the drop down suggestion. And then we want to say this JavaScript because we need to time out here. That was the best way I could figure out to work without bugging. So we're just running some JavaScript in here. We'll be setting that to 0. So let's take a look at what happens if we refresh now. Alright, so nothing is happening right now, so let's check why that may be. So if we go back into navigation here, we want to make sure that we set this as a wire model for the input here. And then you can see we get the suggestions drop down there. So one other thing we want to do is to avoid it coming up with all sort of weird suggestions that will essentially interfere with the user interface, we're going to have to say autocomplete off. If I click there, you can see, let's try again. It doesn't seem to be going to the page, so let's just make sure we got this correct here. Outside of that, inside here, we want to make sure that we don't go to the dashboard up here. We want to go to home. But yeah, so we got the ability to get auto drop down, and we have the ability to search, watch trended videos. We're getting an error in here, so let's make sure that inside the video page component is working fine. So let's check why that is. So I think inside video page, I just want to go ahead and check here that we have everything we need. So we need the video player, so let's check that as well. Just making sure we have why this error is happening. So I'm just gonna go into so we have the Livewire navigation in here just fine, and then we're passing through the slot down here below. And I think the reason why is because we're using this Livewire component, as we just want to say Livewire navigation in here as well. There we go. So we have the ability to upload videos now, like, dislike the video if you're logged in, and so on. So we've practically built an entire YouTube clone now, and there's only a few things left to do on it. So what I want to do as well is add some navigation links in here. So if we head into navigation here. Alright, so in here where we have the authenticated user, let's have a few drop down links. So we have an X menu item here for the account settings, but I also want to go in and find the root for the channel. And if we go into the navigation file again, I'm just going to close down some pages here. Oh, we just need to pass through this auth user. If we then go in now and click, you can see we're getting to the channel, and this obviously is quite a big one here. I'm not going to say that's the best image I could have chosen for this. But as you can see, we can upload anything really. Just doesn't look very nice when it's that big, so we could make it smaller as well if we want to. We can customize the channel in here as well, so I'm gonna go in and just change this name here to your channel, and I want to go in and also change the icon here. So for this icon, let's use fas.user. And there we go. So we're now able to go into our own channel as well, on top of everything else. And in the end, thank you for asking to comment what I'm using for the front end. I'm currently using Livewire 3 and Alpine.js, and also Blade as well. So that's the front end I'm using for this series. So yeah, I think that pretty much covers everything, except for this could be put a bit down so we could center the search bar. There we go. So that's all for this live stream. Thank you very much for watching it, and I'll see you in the next one.